everyone, and welcome on this guide on how to elope in Iceland. My name is Amber and I'm the photographer and guide from Zephyr and Luna. I'm specialized in adventure elopements all over Europe, especially in Iceland, so I'm really excited to share with you all the insights that I have about eloping in Iceland. You might wonder how you can get legally married in Iceland, and it's actually really easy and possible to do that even if you're not an Icelandic resident. So if you come from the US or from Australia or anything, you can get legally married in Iceland and have your wedding recognized back at home. So it's actually really simple. So all you need to do is send some documents via email and take them with you on the day of your elopement when you come to Iceland, because you will need the actual papers with you. But that's pretty much it, and these are really straightforward papers like passport, birth certificates. You don't have to do anything that is really hard to do or like hard to get. So it's really straightforward to get legally married in Iceland. So all the couples I work with, I send them officiant recommendations. So all the officiants I work with can also help you gather the right documents, and so you'll be able to have a really beautiful ceremony outside in Iceland, in nature, and have it legalized back home. Okay, so when it comes to where to elope in Iceland, the main thing to always remember is that Iceland is a very touristic destination. They also talk about over tourism because tons and tons and tons of people go and visit Iceland every year. So it's quite hard to find a spot that will be intimate enough to have a ceremony without anybody into your background or anybody coming and peeking at you. So of course, all the very beautiful places that you can see online, like the Kirkjufell, for instance, or the Reynisfjara beach, those are all very beautiful destinations, but of course they are also very touristic, so you don't want to actually get married there. So the destination that I really recommend if you're visiting Iceland and the nicer months, not in the winter, are the West Fjords, because this is a very beautiful destination. I mean, fjords, of course, you're going to be on top of mountains, the roads there are amazing, and you're just going to be surrounded by raw natural beauty, but the downside is that the West Fjords tend to close really early in the year. So if you plan to go there with your car, you might have some road closures, because of course the weather can get really harsh in Iceland, so the roads tend to close from time to time. So the West Fjords is one of the regions that is the most impacted by these weather conditions. So I would really recommend going into the West Fjords in the summer months, maybe between June and September. That's going to be the best bet that you can you're going to be able to visit them. The other suggestions that I have are either in the northern part of Iceland, where you can see the beautiful northern lights. I mean, you can see them pretty much anywhere in Iceland, but in the northern part, accurately, especially, are really open and really nice for northern light viewing, because there is no light pollution and it's really up north in Iceland. So I would also recommend this part of Iceland. And also the northeast part of Iceland is kind of the only wooden area that you can find in Iceland. It's not like huge forest that you can find like in Canada or in the US or in other destinations, because Iceland, of course, is not a wooden island. You can find a lot of forest there, but still the northeast part of Iceland still like has some forests, and they're all really nice to get married into. So that's also a really nice option. The south coast in general I would not recommend, because it's one of the most touristic part of Iceland. So anywhere between Vik and Ofn is very, very touristic. That's also where you can find the glaciers. So of course there are some spots there that are not touristic. There, I mean, it's not filled with people anywhere you go, but still, if you want to do some photos, it's a great option, because of course that's pretty much here that you can find the glaciers and the waterfalls and the beach and everything, but still you'll find a lot of people there. So which goes into, you can go to the video link that goes a little bit more deeper into when to elope in Iceland. So we'll see. Yay! So when to elope in Iceland, that's really, really up to what you want to see when you go to Iceland, because for instance, if you visit in the winter months, they're all really short, so you can have as less as 4 hours of sunlight light in general in the winter season. So in December and January, it's really, really dark there. So I would not recommend the winter months, also because Iceland is an island that is very windy and very snowy. So the roads might be closed, the whole island might be paralyzed because of strong winds. Sometimes it's really forbidden to go outside because it gets really dangerous for people to actually walk into the wind, because the wind is so strong that it actually moves cars and moves buses. So I would not recommend the winter season. The only right side with the winter season is that it's the best season to view the northern lights, of course, because it's so dark out and it's the northern light season in general. So I would recommend the winter season if you really, really, really want to see the northern lights. Then it will be your best bet to go maybe in February or March. That will be the best option, because the days will be a little bit longer, and in March especially it tends to get nicer and nicer in terms of the weather that you can find there. So the spring season is also a good option, because it's not as touristic as the summer season, of course, and you'll still have some beautiful options like seeing some flowers bloom, and the weather will be nicer. So for instance, if you choose the months of May or June, then you're going to be totally fine with the weather in general. Of course, you're never you'll always have some wind in Iceland. That's one thing that you need to know. But your best bet will be, of course, the spring season and the summer season. So the downside with the summer season is that it's the most touristic season, of course. So if you want to find a spot to exchange your vows in peace, summer season is not the best season, because there will be people everywhere. And when I say everywhere, it's like literally everywhere. So it's actually very surprising how many people are actually visiting Iceland at any time of the year, but especially in the summer season. So I would not recommend the months of July and August in general because of this reason. The month of June is still a good option. Also in June you can have the midnight sun. So it's pretty much like there is sun all day long, even at midnight, because of the way the earth is tilted. So it's a really, really nice option if you want to experience the midnight sun. The month of June is great for that. The best season, in my opinion, is fall, especially the month of October, which is my favorite month to elope in Iceland, because you're gonna have a really nice weather still. It won't be snowing or icy or anything on the roads. You'll be able to drive safely around the island. You should be fine. And also in October you start to have some northern lights. So pretty much all the couples that I've shot in the month of October saw some northern lights at any point of their trip. So I think it's a really great option, especially if you want to have some couple photos under the northern lights. That's a great option. So the month of October is actually amazing. So like the last 2 weeks of October, it's not touristic anymore. There is way less people on the island, and it's a really nice season to see the northern lights. After that, you enter the month of November, where it starts to get a bit more snowy, and the roads to get around might be a bit slippery. And so if you're not comfortable driving on snow or on icy roads, I would not recommend the month of November for your elopement. Also, I mean, it's a great month to see the northern lights, but it gets really cold and really windy, and so I would not recommend the month of November either. So yeah, your best bet will be May, June, and October, which are the 3 best months, in my opinion, to elope in Iceland. All right, so how much does it cost to elope in Iceland? So when I talk about costs, I always take into account that it's going to be just the two of you. So no family around, no guests or anything. So of course you have to add some extra money if you have some guests, because of course you have the restaurant for extra guests and etc. But in general, these are the costs that you can find in Iceland. So as an elopement is not a wedding, of course you don't need as much vendors as you would do with a wedding in Iceland. So generally speaking, all my couples have hair and makeup artists. Sometimes they have flowers, and sometimes they have an officiant, and that's pretty much it, because of course when they book me, I'm going to be their photographer, so they don't need a photographer or anything, and they don't need a planner either, because I plan the whole thing for them. So the cost for a hair and makeup artist will be between let's say $700 to $1,500, depending on where you're eloping, because pretty much all the hair and makeup artists that they are on the island are based in Reykjavik, so you have to add some traveling fees to the artist that you choose, especially if you get married in the northeast part of Iceland or in the West Fjords or anything that is a bit far from Reykjavik. So that is the general cost that you can have for a hair and makeup artist. That is amazing. For flowers, a bouquet, if you can leave from Reykjavik and take your bouquet with you, and just take it in Reykjavik and drive with your bouquet until you reach your elopement spot, then it will be way cheaper than having a florist with you, having a bouquet delivered at, let's say, Vik or Afen or Akureyri. So of course, a bouquet will be cheaper that way. So if you're open to getting your bouquet in Reykjavik, I would say a bouquet is around $300 to $400 for a very nice bouquet, and the boutonniere is around $100 maybe. And the cost of the celebrant is pretty much the same as the hair and makeup artist. If you have a ceremony that is far away from everything, of course you have to pay some extra for travel fees for the celebrants. But in general, from what I've seen, a celebrant generally costs, and that is the same cost if you want a symbolic ceremony or if you want a legal ceremony. That's pretty much the same cost. So it will be around $1,500 for a celebrant. That's the average cost. Of course, if you go really far away from Reykjavik, it will be a little bit more than that, but that's the general cost that you can expect of paying. And for food and accommodation, so that will be pretty much like a normal trip in Iceland, because an elopement, I mean, you don't, of course you want to have a really nice accommodation with you, and you want to have a really nice meal. I truly recommend trying the lamp, because it's really the most Icelandic meal that you can find there. But other than that, restaurant will cost you maybe $60 to $80 per person for a very nice restaurant with like a 4 to 5 courses meal. That's pretty much the cost that you will have. And of course it'll be a little bit more if you have guests, but other than that, you don't have to take into account anything else other than that. So yeah. All right, so this is the last part of this guide. I hope you found it really helpful. So the checklist on how to elope in Iceland. So I would say, first of all, think about if you really want to get married in Iceland. If that's what you want to do, I would really suggest contacting a planner to help you find the really best spot to exchange vows. Because, like I said, if you've never been to Iceland before, you might wanna get married at a location that is not actually really possible to get married at. For instance, like a very beautiful waterfall that you can see on photos that is actually really crowded, or Black Beach, that's the same way. So I would really recommend reaching out to someone to help you find a really nice best spot that you can find in Iceland for your elopement, based on, you know, what you want to have in terms of backgrounds for your ceremony. After that, I would suggest picking a spot to exchange your vows based on, you know, the options that you will receive from your planner, or if you want to do it by yourself, that's totally fine as well. You know, just pick a spot that you really like and go for it. You don't need any permits to elope in Iceland, you know, outside in general. It's not like in the US in national parks when you absolutely need a permit to get married. In Iceland, you can do whatever you want as long as it's outside. One also really great option if you want to have some intimate moments is renting an Airbnb, for instance, that has a beautiful outside, and so it'll be really intimate because it'll be just the two of you and just nature around you. So that's also a great option. After that, I would recommend finding some vendors. So based on what you want and what you need for your elopement, photographer, hair and makeup artist, florist, celebrant, a restaurant for afterwards. You know, all those things, I would start booking them as soon as possible. Of course, as soon as you pick a date for your elopement, I would strongly suggest reaching out to vendors. And after that, you can just check with your celebrant if you want to have a legal ceremony in Iceland. Check with your celebrant what papers you will need, and then you can just plan your whole trip and you'll be good to go. And that's pretty much it. That's what's great with elopements. That's actually really straightforward. So if you need help, reach out to me or someone else to help you plan your elopement in Iceland, and you'll be even better to go. All right, so feel free to ask any questions you have in the comment section of this video. And thank you again so much for watching this guide. I truly hope it was helpful. Have a really nice day.